I'm JB.
I'm Nada. Y'all, we did not even plan on reviewing this movie, but I had to come do it immediately.
We had to. We just went to go see Companion.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so Companion is directed by Drew Hancock, starring the main character Iris, who's played by Sophie Thatcher, and the supporting character Josh Beeman, and he's played by Jack Quaid. You guys might know him from The Boys. He was really popular in The Boys. He's the main character as Huey in The Boys.
He's gonna be in another movie soon, Novocaine.
Novocaine, yeah. So, you might have seen trailers for that.
Is he Dennis Quaid's son?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, so like I said, we were not expecting to review this movie. I honestly almost didn't go see it.
She almost didn't go. Yeah, I almost went by myself just for something to do. I was like, I'm gonna go see this movie.
And I'm so happy I went. Like, so happy. Literally, something happens in the movie, like towards the beginning, and I'm like, we need to review this.
She said that in the theater. Yeah, she's like, because we weren't playing.
Yes, like we weren't taking notes, we weren't keeping track of nothing. It was just like, this movie is so good.
It's so good.
I need people to know this movie is so good.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
So like, what vibes do you get? What do you like about the movie without spoiling it, of course?
Okay, so y'all, this was just sort of a fun time at the movies. It was a cool, like, action. Well, it wasn't really action. There was action in it.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like a tech thriller.
Yes.
It was a tech thriller. It was charming. It was comedic, but like not cringy comedic. It was engaging. It was occasionally suspenseful. Like, it hit all the right notes. It hit all the right notes. It was just enough. And again, it was another hour and a half. You know, it wasn't too long. It was a really good time. I really liked this movie.
Yeah. All of the twists and turns that happened really landed for me. Like he said, suspenseful, definitely tech thriller. I like tech thriller. And it was funny. And all the jokes landed. Y'all are gonna like this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
what's crazy, y'all, is that when we were in the theater, there was only maybe 6 other people in the theater. In the whole theater. And we're like, nobody knows about this. Yeah, it's really good. It was just fun. I don't know. It was fun. Like, it was entertaining.
I walked out smiling.
Yeah.
I walked out like, yeah.
Yeah, we need to talk about this. We got to review this.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. What you think is kind of going to be about, if you've seen the trailer, and you don't even have to see the trailer before, like, just go see it. I bet it's going to be better for you if you don't watch the trailer for Companion. But what you think is kind of going to happen, you have a perception about it, and it gets flipped around kind of at the beginning. So you're like, oh, hey, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah. The moral of the story is, go see the movie.
Yeah,
okay?
Go see Companion.
Thrilling, suspenseful, funny, charming. Yeah.
Clever. It's one of those movies that, like, it's a sleeper. You know, it's no one's really talking about it.
I haven't heard anybody say anything about it.
Not on social media.
About it, nothing.
No, but it's really good.
So. Yes. You have not heard or seen Companion, y'all go see that movie.
Yeah, go see it.
It's worth it. Like, I want us to buy it when it comes out.
You want to buy it?
I do.
Okay.
I like this movie.
Nice.
Okay, so as you know, we like to do a spoiler section. So if you do not want the play-by-play of the movie, this is your chance. Scurry on off the video. Come back once you watch it.
Yeah,
okay?
We'll see you after, because definitely come back.
Yes. So here's your warning. Spoiler alert. All right? Because we are about to get into this breakdown of the movie. All right. So movie opens up, and it's the typical, like, meet cute setup. You know what a meet cute is? Yeah,
but go ahead and tell them for the audience.
Okay, a meet cute is basically just a little setup of a couple meeting each other for the first time. So their meet cute was her walking through the store. She sees him. He does something silly, knocks over some oranges, and then they lock eyes with one another. and they know instantly that they're in love, right? Okay, meet cute. Cuts over to them in the car. They're on their way out of town to meet some friends at a cabin trip. This was not a cabin. It was a mansion.
It was a nice house too.
It was really, really nice, secluded. And along the way, you kind of get that she's a little bit apprehensive about the trip.
Meeting his friends on this trip.
Mm-hmm. There's one girl in particular. Her name is Kat, and she's like, Kat doesn't like me. And he's like, no, baby, you're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be great. So yeah, they show up. She's nervous, but they get to the door. Kat definitely has the attitude.
Yeah, you can tell immediately.
You can tell she really doesn't like her like that. And you kind of get to see who's all there. So there's Sergey. We keep calling him Sergio. Sergey owns this house and all the land around it. He got money. Kat, Eli,
and Patrick.
Okay? All of them are there. And so Iris is the main person and the main female character, and Josh is the main male character. So Iris she gets there, she's like, okay, I'm just gonna go take a shower and I'll be back down. Because they're cooking and all of that, they're getting ready to have dinner. As she is unpacking their bags, you notice that there's like this little flash drive. Like, what did you think it was?
So at first I didn't know what it was. I thought it was maybe a hard drive, flash drive, something like that. But the camera kind of zooms in on it. So they want you to pay attention to it. So you know it's going to be important.
Like, okay, all right. What does this have to do with the story?
Right.
But yes, so we notice the thumb drive. They go back down. They have dinner. Patrick and Eli are kind of telling the story of their meet cute as well. And they get into this whole conversation about love and like how deeply you feel it and how tangible it is and how painful it can be. And so that's just kind of the setup. They kind of dancing. They're having a really good time. You notice Josh and Kat.
They're like in the corner having this conversation. You can't hear what they're saying because it's played over by the music. But Iris sees them having a conversation and separates them because she doesn't understand why.
I felt like she was being a little jealous.
Yeah,
because she's definitely my man, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought she was a little jealous, but they end the night. Everybody had a good night. I just thought of something else. By the way, y'all, we did not plan to do this. Okay?
Yeah, we didn't take any notes,
So we tried to piece some stuff together, but work with me.
Yeah.
Before the night ends, Iris and Kat have a conversation. And Kat is talking about Sergey and like, you know, oh, I mean, I guess it's good to have a man like this. He got money. He's intelligent. But then she also kind of hinted at the fact that he really just throws her around, takes her wherever he wants her to go, sleeps with her whenever he wants to sleep with her. And then she looks at Kat and is like, I mean, you understand. So Julian and I had two different opinions about this that I think we should share. I felt like Kat, because she doesn't like her, and because this other reason we're going to say in a minute, is the reason why she doesn't like her. I like this movie, y'all. She was being shady to her.
Yeah.
And what did you think?
I thought she was trying to relate to her in a specific way, as she was saying that she was also this thing that we're about to get into. But I felt like she was another version of what Iris is, and we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah. If you notice throughout the movie, you also just get a lot of like undertones of dating culture, how men and women treat one another. That's very much throughout the film. So next day, they get up. Iris and Josh are planning to go to this like a little secluded lake, and they're gonna go down there and spend some time with each other. But Josh is saying he's too hungover, he partied too much last night, and tells Iris, why don't you go ahead and go down to the lake? Right,
so Iris goes down. Well, she goes down the steps, she leaves the house, goes down to the lake, and we kind of see the camera focus on Josh as he takes the flash drive that we just saw was in the luggage. He takes that flash drive and plugs it into his phone. Now, we don't see what's on the phone, we just know that it's important, but we just don't know why.
What you about to do, sir?
Right. So yeah, then later on, we then find Iris at the lake, and she's kind of just enjoying the peace. Like, she's just enjoying being there, and she's kind of waiting on Josh. But then we see Sergey show up.
Wait, right before that, she reaches in her pocket.
Oh yeah, she reached in her pocket and found a knife. She didn't know where it came from
Why
or
it was
why.
there.
She just kind of held on to it. She was like, okay, you know.
So I'm like, this is a setup.
Yeah, it felt,
instantly.
It felt set up. Yeah.
This was a setup. You wanted her alone. You wanted her to get down there with that knife. What's about to happen, bro? So yes, Sergey shows up, and he's definitely like making a pass at her. Asks her to rub suntan lotion on him.
He's really just being a creep.
Very much. Very aggressive.
And essentially, he makes a mention that Kat said that it was okay for him to make this pass at Iris. So he begins to try to touch her and stuff, and
trying to kiss on her, and she's asking him like please don't do this. Please don't do this.
He won't stop. So eventually she pushes him, and
she knocks him over the head. It was like an empty liquor bottle. She knocked him over the head with it, and then did he fall down? I don't know.
Yeah, so he hit the ground first. She thought he might be dead or whatever, and then she kind of looked at him. And then he came right back. He jumped back up and then like pinned her to the ground.
Yes.
And then by doing that, she pulled out that knife she found in her pocket. She stabbed him. So she stabbed him to death. I was like, okay. So at this point, she heads back to the house, and she's covered in blood. Covered in blood, and everyone else is in the house. They're just sitting there talking, and she's like, "Oh my God, I didn't mean to." And they're like, "What happened?"
She's like yelling and screaming and yelling, "I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to." And then you see Josh go, "Iris, go to sleep."
And then you hear her shut down. Right?
Okay, so if you have not seen the trailer, because if you saw the trailer, you would already know Iris is a robot. She's a companion robot. And you would know that already. But up until this point, unless you just thought he was really creepy and like to tell her what to do all the time, which again, they were hinting and playing on these dynamics in relationships, but you didn't know she was a robot. So she shuts down, they tie her up, and Kat is going to sleep. Eli, Patrick, and Josh are awake. And the plan is we're going to call the police, and we're going to call the company that made Iris, because she should not have had the ability to harm someone. She can't harm a person, an animal, or another bot. So Eli and Patrick, they go outside to to call the police. And then Kat comes back out and is like, what is she still doing up? Right? Oh no, I skipped it. I'm going too fast, y'all. Let me look at my notes.
The next part essentially was a conversation where Kat was like, you know what, I'm gonna go take a nap. And Josh is like, you know what, I'm going to say goodbye to Iris. So this was a whole interesting conversation. Essentially, Josh he wakes her up. He says, Iris, wake up. She boots back up, but it's in the last state from when she was awake. And essentially, he just tells her like, hey, this is the truth. You're really not real. You're a robot.
Yes.
And then she pleads with him, and she's like, all of my dreams are real. I have memories of us.
Okay, so wait, we got to slow down right here.
Okay.
That's another big point. So we had already seen the trailer. We knew she was a robot, but I was under the impression that she knew she was a robot.
She did not know.
But she did not know.
They don't know that we know they know we know.
That really added to the plot. Really.
It did, because it also helped some stuff make sense. The whole meet cute thing. I was like, how do they have a meet cute and she's a robot? And she got dropped off at the door.
Yeah.
But she never knew that. So he got to pick the settings for how they meet. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say there was this really cool juxtaposition of how she saw things from her perspective and how he told her what the reality was. Yeah. For her, it was, I remember us meeting in the store. I remember us falling in love. I remember looking deep into your eyes. And for him, he was like, yeah, I just clicked the drop down and click B out of A through D.
There was a list of ways to meet, and I thought that was nice.
I just clicked B. And then she said, what about this memory? Nope, I just programmed it. What about our love connection? Nope, I just linked you to my phone.
Yeah,
it was just very...
Seriously. So she's sitting there distraught. She can't believe it, right? Okay, there we go. So we got caught up there. Kat is upset because he wasn't supposed to say anything to her. Yeah. They were just supposed to come get her. So they go in the other room, and they're talking more about what this plan was, right? And the plan essentially...
we find out that Josh and Kat had a plan to murder Sergey and take all of his money, but use Iris to kill him. So that way, the blood wasn't on their hands. Kill her. Then kill Sergey, use her, and have her taken back to the company that makes her.
So what he was doing with that thumb drive and his phone was modifying her settings so that she would cause a person harm. He turned up her aggression and all of these things so that she would kill him. In the meantime, she's in the back trying to hop over. She's all tied up. She realizes the knife is in the room. She gets the knife, unties herself, she cuts herself free, and takes off running. So she's running.
But in the escape, though, she takes Josh's phone.
Yes. Yeah. So now she can control all of her settings, right? So she takes off running. Eli and Patrick, they see her and they come in and they say stuff to like Josh and Kat, and they're trying to figure out like what is going on, what happened, and essentially now they have to bring Eli and Patrick into the plan because Eli and Patrick had no idea that they were trying to set Iris up to kill Sergey and take his money.
Right. So at this point, I'm like, man, this is pretty good. We got the robot and all this aspect. So the world is sort of opening up as we go. So then in the conversation with Eli and Patrick, he kind of lets them know, like, this is what we're planning to do. We're planning to kill him. We can split the money with you now that you know. So that way, you can keep your mouth shut. You'll have $3 million. So then Patrick and Eli are together. They're like in a relationship.
They're a couple.
So Eli says, well, we're going to have to split it 4 ways because Patrick needs his money. So then Josh says, why would we give him any money? And in this moment, there was a hint. I was like, are you telling me that Patrick is also a robot too? So Eli looks in his eyes and he's like, Patrick shut down. And then I'm like, oh
my God, dude has been a robot the whole time.
Yeah. Wow.
And like, okay, maybe we could have picked up on that, I guess, because, so again, this is why Kat doesn't like Iris. But Kat seemed fine with Patrick.
She did.
So I didn't understand why she was being mean to Iris and not mean to Patrick. And it also, I think it kind of covers the fact that he's a robot with that, because you would think she just don't like robot companions. But no, she just didn't like Iris.
So at this point, they speak to Eli. They kind of get on the same terms. They're like, look, we just need to go find her and bring her back. So she ran out in the woods. Remember, she took Josh's phone. Yeah. They run out in the woods. They're like, all right, we're going to split up. You go this way, you go this way.
They rebooted Patrick.
Yeah, they rebooted Patrick. They say, all right, we're going to go this way and that way. Well, we're going to go look for her.
So they took off. Eli and Patrick are looking for her, but they're also like talking. And Eli's just like, I can't believe that he would modify her like that. And that's just crazy and that's insane. And Patrick goes, you wouldn't do that to me, would you?
Now, see, the difference is Patrick is actually, we find out that he's aware that he's a robot.
Yes. And Eli didn't know that he was aware.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, over the past few years, I figured it out. And they have a moment where you realize that although he is a robot, he's very much in love with his Patrick. He is. And like can't do life without her. Whereas you see Josh, and Josh is clearly just using this robot.
Yeah.
Like not even just for murder. He just is using her. So you kind of see their love connection. And in the meantime, Iris has been hiding behind a tree. She couldn't run.
Nearby, yeah.
And the phone starts to vibrate. And they're like, oh crap. They're like, Iris, come on now. Eli was running around with a gun. And they take off after her.
Right, so they
He's
chase
a pretty good shot.
Yeah, it was a cool shot. So they take off after her. Eli follows her down a hill. I think they fall. They both fall down a hill.
Yeah.
And they fumble over the gun for a minute. And so I'm like, dang, he finna kill her. But she get the gun. She kills Eli.
She kills Eli.
And Patrick at the top of the hill sees this happen. So he's like, I'm like, dang, is he feeling sad? I mean, can he feel your robot? I don't know.
I mean, I think, because they got this whole like love connection thing. So he definitely could feel. Yeah. Because think later on, like you see him, he's literally holding Eli's body in his arm.
Yes.
He's not even like running after her or mad. He's literally like holding Eli.
And y'all, by the way, when he died, you can see him start glitching. He was like glitching in his face. I was like, oh no. Yeah, bro, you ain't see his.
That was the love of his life.
I know, but like I'm saying, he finna go crazy because he
was not about to go crazy.
No, but you could tell.
I think a piece of him was like broken, but he wasn't going crazy. Other than that, he would have went after Iris.
That's true.
So they, Josh and Kat hear the gunshot and they come running towards them. So Iris is able to get away. And she gets to this little point and she kind of starts playing around with the phone settings at that point. And so she realizes, man, he controlled my eye color, the tone of my voice, the language I speak,
my intelligence,
all of that, my levels of aggression. He could control and like make her any way he wanted to make her.
Yeah, it's like all it is like a slider on his phone. He could like make it the higher or lower.
It's just like on a video game.
I was just like, that's insane.
So she realizes that, but then she's also like, okay, I have to find a way out of here. So she turned her intelligence up.
Oh, yeah.
And at that point, I thought she was about to turn into Lucy. Did y'all see the movie Lucy?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I kind of did think that too.
But I thought she was on the ground. I thought she computing all types of stuff, and no, that didn't happen. But the plan she comes up with is he has a self-driving car, so she can make it back to the house in the self-driving car. It can get her away from here, and then she can figure out what to do from that point.
So she gets back to the car. She gets in, but Josh tries to catch her. So
wait a minute, we going too fast. Remember, y'all, we out of order. So before that happens, everybody is over Eli's body.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'm tripping. Right.
You want to say it?
No, you go ahead.
Everybody is all around Eli's body. And so Josh is like, I'm going to use Patrick now to help hunt down Iris.
Which is low-key really smart. But
yes, it was smart because he's a robot. So to reset your robot, are you a robot?
No.
You have to hold your thumb to the back of their ear. And it's like a factory reset.
Yeah.
So he resets him and it starts the whole little process that you saw happen with Iris at the beginning. It starts over with Patrick, but now he's linked to Josh. And they do the whole meet cute setup.
All over
so
again.
Now you get to see him in the meet cute in the dinosaur costume instead of Eli being in the costume and all of that. So when he's programming him, he turns his aggression up all the way to 100% because he's like, I need you to kill Iris. So fast forward, she makes it to the car and Josh comes running up and he's trying to stop her from getting in the car. She was able to. She slammed his hand in the door, almost broke all his fingers, and she's like, drive. But it doesn't recognize her voice because it only works with his voice.
Right, so she takes out his phone, she changes the slider to like a deeper voice closer to his, and it does recognize and takes off.
Yes, and she ran over his foot.
Yeah. And then at some point, a little bit later, Josh gets his hand on another phone. He calls and essentially reports that his car stolen. And then the car recognizes it, and when she's in it, she gets pulled over on the side of the road. It just pulls itself over, and then it's a kill switch.
So she got away a little bit, but shut it down, and it locked her inside of it. So she's trying to like kick herself out of the car. Police comes up and sees her. She got out of the car, but then he stops her. So now another thing is that robots cannot tell a lie. They have to tell the truth.
So this part was hella smart. So she knew this cop gonna come up here. He gonna ask me questions, and I'm not gonna be able to lie. So she changes her language, the voice she speaks, so that way
to German.
So when he asks the questions, she can answer truthfully, but he can't understand her. So I thought that was hella smart.
And so she kind of is like hinting that she was staying at Sergey's house, and he's like, "Oh, Sergey's crazy. It's all types of stuff be happening over there." And I mean, she's like, "Yeah, Sergey's dead. I killed him," but he don't know what she's saying. So eventually, you think he's gonna be like cool and let her go, but he looks over and he sees the bloody knife in the car. So he begins to arrest her, and she's like, "No, you have to let me go." And who comes running up?
Patrick.
Okay.
Patrick literally walked up like, I'm talking about no hand. I mean, no words, just all hands. and he killed the cop in
like kept punching him in the face.
Yeah, like he was dead, but like he caved in the cop's
his
face.
whole face.
So then he shuts down Iris, throws her in the car, and takes her back to the house.
And put the cop in the trunk.
And put the cop in the trunk.
And they go back. So he gets there and there's like, what? Where's the cop? In the trunk.
In the trunk.
Brings her in. And at that point, Kat is like done. She's like, look, I'm over this. This was too much. It's not what we signed up for. Yeah. She's taking her half of the money and she's trying to leave. But Josh is not going to let her leave. And at one point, she's like, you can't stop me. And he's like, okay.
Said, oh, for real?
And he said, Patrick, stop her.
He said, stop her. So then he didn't, I don't think he planned on this, but Patrick walked up. He just took a knife and killed her immediately. I said, damn.
He said, you said,
that's wild.
Stop her. So,
yeah, so she ends up just dying on the couch.
She kind of fumbles over, dies on the couch. And it cuts off there and opens back up where Iris is sitting at a table, handcuffed to a chair. And Josh is across the table eating because Patrick just cooked. So they're eating. He wakes her up and they get into this discussion, really
back and forth.
Yeah, a kind of a back and forth. And he's trying to demean her, but she's basically telling him, like, you are pathetic. Like, you had to go through all of this to get love. Now you had to go through this stuff to try to just get some money. You treated me like absolute crap and I still loved you, which she couldn't help it. She was programmed that way.
Yeah.
But again, I told you I was trying to talk about some tones and dating. I'm just saying. And they have this whole moment. He decides he's going to torture her more. And he's like, oh, remember when you were talking about how you could feel pain? We're going to test that theory.
So he basically makes her hold her hand over an open flame, like a candle. And it just burns all his skin. And that was
and you could see
scene.
Like tears coming down.
Yeah.
Apparently there's like a little reservoir of tears inside of her, just so it seems real. Okay, how do they eat? That part bothered me.
I think it's just maybe an imitation. They don't really eat.
But they would have to, she would see that she wasn't eating food like everybody else.
That's true. I don't know. That
they
part,
don't talk about that, like
that.
eating and using the bathroom. So when they mentioned the tears thing, I was like, how do they do everything else? Anyway, he eventually forces her, he gives her a gun and he forces her to shoot herself in the head. Yeah,
to make it look like she killed herself,
Yes.
So then she shoots herself in the head. She goes offline. He calls the people who created her. They come and they see her. They're like, okay, what happened? So he gives them like a fake story.
And he has Patrick put on the dead cop's uniform.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To corroborate the whole story.
Yeah.
And he almost got caught twice. One, because the guy who worked for the company, what was it, Empathics? The guy who works for the company is like, looking at Patrick, you look real familiar. And he's like, he's just got a familiar face that everybody knows. I'm like, okay. Then they asked Patrick a question, and because Patrick cannot lie, he told the truth about her shooting herself in the head. They tried to give another story. But they're like, oh, well, we're just going to get her memory rebooted and stuff, and we'll get everything taken care of. And Josh is like, memory rebooted? She shot herself in the head.
He was like, ain't nothing left, right? He was like, oh, man, you know what? He was like, actually, her SSD is located in her stomach. And I said, damn. I was like, it's located in her stomach.
He thought he had that clean,
and so you can see his face. He like, oh my God.
And now he like, dang, Patrick got to kill 2 more people.
Right. So essentially they get her outside. And so at this point, I'm like, he either going to let her get back to the, to where she comes from and like destroy her there, or he going to kill all of them before they go.
I knew Patrick was about to come kill them in that van. And that's exactly what he did. They hooked her up, so she was starting to power back up in the background.
Yeah, they plugged her up to USB-C. And then she was starting to do
Patrick walks up and shoots, bam, shot the big one. And then there was another one that ended up getting away. So Patrick is running after him. Iris in the back of the van boots up.
Yes, she was on 85%. She got to 100 and then she gets out.
So she gets out and goes after all of them. So Patrick is getting ready to kill, his little name was Teddy. Patrick is getting ready to kill Teddy. And she's like, oh, she has this, what is it called? It's not a pride.
It was a pride.
Pride?
Mm-hmm.
She has this pride, and she's like threatening him, but because she's been reset,
she can't attack him.
She can't attack him. He's like, you can't hurt me. And she's like, you have to remember, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. You don't love Josh. You really love Eli. And she starts telling him all of this stuff. And then it was almost like he started glitching. Mm-hmm. Like his old memory was fighting to
override his memory.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And eventually it does. And he sees, I think it was because like a quote about love that she said. Mm-hmm. He sees all of the memories that they had, and he just feels terrible that he lost Eli, and he ends up killing himself. Mm-hmm. So Patrick is dead. Everybody else is dead except Josh and Teddy. And so she's like, Teddy, I need you to do me a favor.
So Teddy go back in the van, and she give her all control. She couldn't
Makes
be
her
connected
fully
to.
Autonomous.
Yeah, fully autonomous. She could do whatever she wanted now. So then she goes back in the house and confronts Josh. And then they get into a tussle. First, she has a gun.
Well, she had a gun, and
yeah,
he thought she wouldn't pull the trigger. She did, but
yeah. So eventually, he wrestles the gun from her. They start fighting, and then he kind of is telling her like, you need me. You can't kill me. You do nothing without me, and all this. And so eventually,
he tossing her too.
Yeah, he was throwing her around too. But eventually, she gets the upper hand, and he was like standing over her, like with the gun, and she picks up an
electric corkscrew.
There we go, electric corkscrew, and like shoves it into his temple, like right there, and like while he's standing over her, and it screws into his head. Oof, boy, that was intense.
That was very intense.
Yeah, that was intense.
And Josh dies.
Yeah, he's dead.
And so baby girl is like, listen,
I'm finna have my own life. Live free.
Like I'm about to live free. She's autonomous now. She doesn't have to be anybody's robot companion, robot, none of that stuff. There's a moment where you see her like pull the burnt skin off of her hand, and you see like the robotic hand.
It's supposed to be her, like, I think that moment is her embracing what she is.
Yeah. I told y'all this movie has got some little undertones to it, okay? You break free of this man who's been trying to hold you down and control you, and she's come to herself. She takes all the money, rolls out of the mansion in Sergei's red Mustang, looking cute, okay? And she rides off into the sunset, and she sees another what I think was a sex robot. Companion. And she waves at her with her little robot hand, and it's like, girl, you could do this too.
Right.
So that is the movie in a nutshell, y'all. All right. What are we giving it as a rating?
I might give this one either a 9 or 9.5.
I'm going 9.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this movie.
Yeah, it was really fun. I think what made it better was that it was an unexpected surprise. That's what actually made it better.
All of the suspense works, comedy works, like everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes, movies have agendas, and it wasn't too heavy. I mean, you kind of know what it's going to be about. It's a woman that's a robot companion, but like everything was just really good. Like I walked out smiling. I walked out like, no, we gotta talk about this.
Yeah,
I gotta tell people to go see this movie. So yeah, go see the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you like, subscribe, you hit the bell so you get notifications so you can see when our next review is coming out.
Yes.
Let us know, get in the comments, let us know if you like the movie, if you heard about it.
Yeah, if you checked it out, tell us what you think.
Okay, because we want to know. We like this movie. I'm buying it, seriously. But thanks for watching, y'all.
All right. See y'all later.